What's up, guys? Cody here with On the Hunt. Gonna talk to you guys about some mounting options on top of tripods, specifically the Manbily rifle clamp. Hang with me. All right, so if you guys have followed the channel much, you know that I talk a lot about tripods. I've done several tripod reviews, and it's been a while since I've done a tripod review, and there's kind of a reason for that. I've found what I would consider the absolute best tripod on the market, and that is the Fat Boy tripods. They have several to offer. This one happens to be the new Elevate tripod. It's an inverted leg design, so you turn these quick twist lock leg locks, and now you can raise the tripod up or down, and you don't have to bend over and fiddle with these things in the freezing cold or in the snow, bent way over. It's really slick, works awesome. Love these tripods. On top of this, I've got the new Fat Boy Levitate head. This is a leveling head as opposed to like a traditional ball head. This setup right here is pretty phenomenal, you guys, and I'm looking forward to running this thing all season long, putting it through its paces. Before this, I had the Fat Boy Traverse 2-section tripod, and I mean, that thing was incredible as well. And on top of that, I was running the Invert 60 Fat Boy ball head. Great combo, hard to beat it. I think this one might beat it, at least for what I'm doing, for the application that I'm using it for, coyote hunting, long range shooting. Not a lot of elevation change. This thing's gonna work really well for me. But that's not what this video is about, you guys. This video is about the Manbily rifle gun clamp. This thing's on Amazon. It is definitely Chinese, but I'm surprised about it. Full disclosure, Manbily did send this out to the channel for review, and they kind of wanted me to talk about it. I told them, sure, go ahead. It looked like a pretty decent quality product, at least on the website. So I said, yeah, send it out. I'll give it a review and let you know what I think about it. So I like it. I think it's a good gun clamp. It's on Amazon for around 65 bucks. I think it's definitely gone up in price because I checked out a couple other reviews, and at that time I want to say it was like $50 or 40 something dollars. So what I like about this clamp, guys, this is a full CNC aluminum machined clamp. Everything on it is aluminum in respects to the actual clamp, but then obviously you've got some rubber padding inside the clamp here, and some rubber padding on the very bottom for your rifle to rest in. Everything else is aluminum. I think the screw mechanism or the bolt mechanism is probably a steel of some sort, but it's pretty decent quality, you guys. One thing I really like about it is it's got this cool spring-loaded lever, so if you get it, if you get it tightened to a spot where it's in your way, you can just pull it out and move it to a spot that it's not in your way. So I really like that. Spring loaded, works really nice. They also have this nice thick block with Arca rail on both top and bottom, and it is removable. There's a couple of nice Allen head machine grade bolts down through the middle that screw that plate on, so you could unscrew that, take it off, and direct thread it to a tripod that has like a 3/8 bolt up through the top. But for this purposes of this video, I want to show you guys some of the different options that you may have if you weren't aware of some of the options out there for mounting your rifles to your tripods. I get a lot of questions about how do you mount your rifle to your tripod, and there's a couple of options, and this is a viable option, I believe. But then my favorite and preferred method would be direct clamp your rifle directly to an Arca ball head or an Arca leveling base using an Arca plate on your rifle. And so I'll show you both of those methods. First, I do want to show you that I do own a Bog Death Grip head. Now, this is something that Bog came out with kind of after the fact when everybody wanted, a ball head style tripod. So Bog said, hey, let's make a clamp that has Arca on it so it can just go into an Arca top plate and mount like that, and people can use it. So that's all well and good. The problem is it's a really shitty clamp. It's made out of extremely crappy materials. It's cast and it just doesn't work good. There's a tiny little set screw right here, and that set screw just strips itself on the bolt. So when you're tightening this, in order to get your rifle tight enough in it, you're gonna strip that set screw on that bolt, and then you're kind of screwed. So really don't like this clamp, you guys. It's kind of makes noise, and it just doesn't feel good, right? And this is pretty expensive. This is like around $100 once you pay to get it shipped to you and stuff. So not a very impressive clamp. I would not run this. I wouldn't trust my rifle in it really, unless like I was right there to babysit it. So the Bog Clamp with the Arca plate on the bottom, not a fan. The Manbily is a much better option. This is the U-3, by the way, on the Manbily. So before I put this in the tripod, which is hopefully what all of you are here to see, I want to show you guys the option to attach an Arca plate to the bottom of your rifle. And so this one happens to be attached with M-Lock, but you could attach it with, if you had a key mod rail, you could get one specifically for key mod. I have seen some that clamp onto Picatinny rails. So there's some cool options on the market now because it's getting really popular. But essentially you set your rifle on top of that Arca plate or Arca clamp on your ball head, and then you lock it in, all right? And so that thing's locked in. You're not spinning a knob to tighten and squeeze the rail of your rifle. And now I can loosen that ball head and move that thing all around, all right? That's really slick. That's really credit to the Fat Boy leveling base, but any ball head, you're gonna be able to move your rifle around and whatnot, regardless of how you mount it, whether you clamp it or have an Arca plate. So what I wanted to show you though, is when I have that fully tightened, there is not much wiggle on that rifle. I mean, I'm way out here on the end with a lot of leverage. There's not much wiggle, side to side, up and down. Like, it doesn't move much. It's got a little bit, but that's mostly my rail of my rifle giving way because it's just a free flow, cheap aluminum rail. So now what I want to show you guys is, first of all, why you would even use one of these clamps. So we'll go ahead and put the Manbily clamp in here. It's definitely a tight fit, but you can adjust that with most ball heads to fit that Arca rail. There's usually some variants with different Arca rails on the market, but we'll go ahead, we'll screw this out. That's gonna open the jaws of the clamp, and it's gonna allow me to put a rifle in. Now, the reason you would run a clamp like this is typically because you have a bolt gun. We'll go ahead and show this thing is clear. Should have done that with the AR, but you got a bolt gun, and obviously you can't really put an Arca plate on the bottom of a nice wood stock bolt gun or something like that. So it's a more traditional hunting rifle or what have you. So this allows you to take that hunting rifle, set it in the clamp, kind of get it where you would want it, level it out, and then go ahead and tighten that thing in. Now, that's really nice. It's gonna be good and sturdy. Once you loosen your ball head, you can move that bolt gun all around. It's great. When you lock it in though, there is substantial wiggle, okay? Not so much side to side, but more up and down. Substantial wiggle, and what that is that's the rubber inside the clamp sort of giving way. I could pull this right out. I mean, you can see me working that right out. That's not really ideal, and I did tighten that clamp like pretty darn tight. So if I put this in and I go ahead and just really reef on this thing, I mean, I'm to a point now where I wouldn't feel like putting too much more torque on that, and I could still work this rifle out, okay? I don't like that, you guys, but it's the nature of these type of clamps. They're not, they're not a permanent attachment method like the Arca is. So it is what it is, you loosen that, you still have plenty of play and movement. You can do what you gotta do, but when you tighten that down, you definitely have movement, okay? So it's nowhere near as secure, it's nowhere near as stable of a shooting platform. So you gotta keep that in mind. But for what it is, it does a good job. The clamp, this Manbily clamp is nice. It does work well, and it's really made nice. It's good quality. For a Chinese product, I really don't have anything bad to say about it. It's good quality. I think they maybe could have mitigated some of the rifle play by using a thinner rubber in here, or maybe a rubber that had more surface contact on the rifle. There's quite a bit of grooves in here that are big chunky grooves. They might have been able to mitigate some of that rifle play up and down using a different rubber compound. But all in all, it really is a good clamp. You can also direct thread the bottom of this to a tripod plate that has a 3/8 threaded bolt on it. This also has some safety stoppers, so when it's in your Arca plate, if you lock it down and it's not quite tight enough, it will slide, but it can only slide so far before this whole head would not just slide right off. So that's really nice as well. Another thing I really like about this clamp, you guys, is the bottom of this clamp is, it has a really hard rubber compound down here that is super grippy. I don't know if that would have worked on these side plates, but it might have been a better option for them. But I do like that rubber. It feels like it'll really protect your rifle. Anyway, another thing also that I like that they did, you guys, is these two plates, they like auto center your rifle. Okay, so let's say you open this really nice and wide, you put your rifle in, and you're off just a hair with your rifle. You're not like centered directly above the center of the clamp. When you go and tighten these, they're gonna tighten at the same exact time, and they center your rifle for you. So that's really nice. I know some clamps, they have one clamp that stays stationary and the other clamp moves in. This one does, they both move at the same time. The Bog Clamp does that as well. This just does it better, you guys. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I don't have a lot to say. It's a simple product. It's a nice product. It works really well. And if you need a clamp and you're, on a budget, or you want to buy something a little cheaper and you don't care that it's made in China, the Manbily U3 is really a good option, you guys. So check it out. I'll put a link in the description below. And thanks for hanging out with me for this video. See you guys soon.